All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. How's everybody doing today? Come on, get loud for me one time. Awesome. We definitely want to thank you all for being here for our annual meeting. And my name is Dave Arwood, Master of Ceremonies. I love that title. For P&B Broadcasting, a lot of you probably see me at the breakfast, and if not, you probably hear me on the radio, all a part of P&B Broadcasting Group. So thank you again for being here. We appreciate you so much. I want to recognize several folks that we have in the room with us today. First off, we have a lot of folks here from the city of Phoenix City. So if you're with the city of Phoenix City representative, would you please stand and be recognized for us this morning? Also, we have our friends here from the Russell County and Revenue Commissioner's Office here this morning. Would you please stand and be recognized? Russell County. Awesome. Our friends here from Smith Station, City Council, and our mayor here as well. So would you please stand and be recognized? And we also have members from Congressman Mike Rogers' office here today. Would you please stand and be recognized? Oh, here. All right. Also, I would like to make a very special recognition of our friends from Fort Benning today and the Garrison. Would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you so much for being here. And I would like to ask all of our East Alabama Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors to please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome. We couldn't do it without our sponsors. Of course, we want to thank our diamond sponsor, Beam and Troy, both sponsors. Would you please put your hands together for our diamond sponsors today? And we also want to thank our emerald sponsors, which is Alabama Power, Houston Clinic at Jack Houston, and Alitrade. Please, a round of applause for our emerald sponsors. And we couldn't do it without our Ruby sponsors. Pearled Images here today with us, and Vectorply. Would you please give a round of applause to our Vectorply friends and Pearled Images. And of course, we have our Sapphire sponsors. We got Thrive Senior Living. We got GEC, Geotechnical Environmental Consultants. We also have Taylor Funeral Home, Phoenix City Housing Authority, and the Columbus Airport, all Sapphire sponsors. Please, a round of applause for these guys. And I know you always hear us talk about our platinum members, anchors of our membership, and thank you so much to Alabama Power, Troy, thank you Beam, the City of Phoenix City, Buffalo Rock, Russell County, Synovus, the City of Smith Station, P&B Broadcasting, WC Bradley, West Rock, and TSIS. A large round of applause for all of our platinum members. Thank you. And to get us started off today, I have asked Chandra Wright, who is with the United Way of the Chattahoochee Valley, and she's also our chair of the Board of Directors for the Chamber, to come up and deliver our invocation this morning. Chandra.
Will you please bow your heads with me? Most gracious Father, we come today to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be in this place at this time and at this moment. Guide us as we move into this meeting. Keep our eyes and minds and hearts open to the possibilities to bring one region together. Guide our hearts, Father. Touch each person in this room and increase their talents, and let those talents be beneficial for our community. Bless the food for the nourishment of our bodies, and our bodies to your service. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
All right, thank you, Chandra. I have asked the Honorable Mayor Eddie Lowe from the City of Phoenix City to come up and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance, please, sir.
Thank you, Dave. I started to try to jump up from there, but I realized that my wife is on the way, and she'll remind me I can't do what I used to do. So, but anyway, if you all could, attention, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's that lunch? Good? Very good. That fish was amazing. Hope you guys enjoyed lunch. We're going to continue on. I know a lot of you are still eating, and that's fine. And if you find that you need to get up and replenish your drink, by all means, help yourself and do that as well. And we're just going to continue on. So I would like everybody to just look at the beautiful centerpieces on the table. Aren't those beautiful? My friend Melissa Gant put all of those together. Those look great. Would y'all please give her a round of applause? Melissa's with Beam. They are one of our diamond sponsors, and I would like to ask Melissa to come up and say a few words for us.
So Melissa always gives credit where credit is due. Melissa did not do those by herself. Her mother always rescues her out of all the crazy messes that she gets herself into. And then I also would like to give a great shout out to Barry and Kay. They provided the magnolia leaves for us. So thank you very much. Appreciate y'all letting us borrow your boat. I'm not going to return them though, because I don't think you dig them back. So. My staff always says, when is Dennis going to realize that you really don't like to do that, don't like to do this? And I'm like, I don't know, but one of these days he's going to realize this is not my favorite thing to do. But it's always easy for me when I get to talk about something that I know. So I can talk about Beam. That's all good. So Beam has some exciting news. As everybody knows, the last few years has been what's a great word for the last few years? It has been horrendous but what has been good for our business is that it makes us realize exactly how important internet has been to our community. Whether it's you having to school from home, whether you're working from home, and if you're working from home, I probably have heard from each one of you personally on my personal cell phone number. If not mine, probably somebody at that table's there. So that's the beauty of being local, is that you can, when you're having trouble, you can reach out and text somebody. Not just me, honestly. There's a lot of people that you reach out and text. But that's something that sets us apart, and it's always our honor to be a part of this event as a diamond sponsor, because our mission matches exactly with the Chamber's mission to support local and to give back to our community. And it's something that we have kind of built our reputation on. It's kind of what sets us apart, and it's definitely what makes the difference to our community and to us. So, but I'm here to talk today a little bit about Beam, but also another way that we are giving back is that we have partnered with the Chamber to do 5 different videos that are to talk about the different aspects of the targeted advisory groups. They align with the targeted advisory groups, which I think Dennis is going to talk more about later. But we have done one earlier this year, or last year, for the military. And then we've also, today's is going to be in conjunction with education. But these videos are to kind of spotlight ourselves with what is great about our community, that these videos will be used to bring and recruit other people back to our community. So this video is the one focused on education. I felt that was in line since our speaker is going to be about education. So I hope you'll enjoy this video. This is the second of 5, so there will be more to come. So the one last thing I'll say before we roll the video is that Beam does have an exciting announcement that's going to be hitting the press here pretty soon, that we're giving you a sneak peek of today, that we will be making the announcement in the next week or so, that we will be the next gig city in the state of Alabama in the next by summertime. So in our entire footprint. So we're not doing like others do. And cherry picking the neighborhoods that we want to be gig. If we're going to give a gig, we're going to give it to everybody. So stay tuned for that. And you guys, you have my text, you have my phone number. Call me when you're ready for a gig. So.
At Central High School, students are earning almost 1,500 collegiate hours. We have students, it's not uncommon for them to graduate high school with an associate's degree. We have an articulation agreement with Chattahoochee Valley Community College. A lot of our students are enrolled in those classes and are earning credit towards their college transcripts, if you will.
Russell County Schools provide students with quality learning experiences. With an enrollment of approximately 3,500 students, Russell County School District provides an atmosphere that is warm, inviting, and safe. Students are academically challenged with rigorous curriculum, STEM or STEAM integration, fine arts, and an offering of over 10 career technical programs. To name a few, culinary arts, public safety, and junior ROTC.
We've just started this year a pre-K program here at our school, which is going to go in conjunction with our education and training course that we teach here. We also have welding programs, construction and framing, auto mechanics, business tech. We're also starting an IT program this year for our students. We also have a P&M program for our television and broadcasting course. So.
Our graduation rate here at Glenwood is 100%. Every senior graduates here at Glenwood. We have a 98% of students that graduate that go on to higher education, either community college or 4-year school. But Glenwood is unique in that you can put your kid here at 6 years of age, have them on the same campus until they graduate high school. And that's what a family is all about.
Businesses within this particular community, East Alabama community and region, benefit by having an array of educational or credentialing options. Troy has been in the business of providing education for over 100 years. But we also partner with our community junior colleges to ensure that there are stackable program options for the workforce.
We offer academic transfer courses, and because of the STARS agreement, we are able to transfer our courses to any state institution in the state of Alabama, that anyone who is in the market or want to improve themselves can come to Chattahoochee Valley for an education.
We have a wonderful education target group here in East Alabama, and it's been a wonderful opportunity to get to know administrators from Glenwood, from Russell County, from the collegiate level, bring all different types of ideas and concepts as to what would be most beneficial to our students and to our community.
So, again, that was the second of the installment of 5. So, more to come. You'll see these on the chamber website. You're going to start seeing them on the city and county, and all the places that we can recruit people that might want to come join our area. So, more to come on those. So, and now. It's going to be my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Hawkins. And Dr. Hawkins, as I said a while ago, this is not my favorite thing to do, so you can go along with me. So if I give you new jobs that you didn't have, or new positions, or any kind of credentials that you didn't have, just go with it, okay? So Dr. Hawkins is a native of Mobile, Alabama. He was named Vice Chancellor of Troy University September the 1st, 1989. He has earned his bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Montevallo and his doctorate degree from University of Alabama, Roll Tide. Upon completion of his bachelor's degree in 1967, he was commissioned as lieutenant in the U.S. Marine Corps and was platoon leader in the Vietnam War. For his combat duty, he received a Bronze Star, a Purple Heart, and a citation from the Korean Marine Corps. He's overseen an era of change and growth at Troy. He led the merger with the worldwide Troy State University system and the unified Troy University to an initiative what was called One Great University. More than $375 million has been invested in capital improvements across all of the 4 Troy campus, Alabama campuses. He serves as the catalyst for the university's evolution to an international institution, as Troy has attracted a record number of students from other nations and established teaching sites around the world. During his tenure, academic standards for admissions have increased. New degree programs have been established in all academic colleges, and the intercollegiate athletes have joined the highest level of NCAA competition. In his copious spare time, he serves on the board of directors of the Daniel Foundation, the Benny Atkins Foundation, the Business Council of Alabama, the American Village Trust, the College Football Playoff Board of Managers, that one we might need to check into, and the Troy Bank and Trust Company. So thank you for being here to speak to us today, and thank you for coming to the East Alabama area. And we love your beautiful campus next door, so come join us.
Thank you, Melissa. And I'm married and have been a long time, so I'm used to getting new jobs on a regular basis. It is a real pleasure for me to return to Phoenix City and to see so many old friends. And as I walked in and talked with different ones, it occurred to me how many Trojans we have in Phoenix City and across the river. And if you've had a relative, or if you attended, or you have been a Trojan at any level, I want you to raise your hand. Oh my goodness. Now, if you haven't paid your alumni dues, it's always a pleasure to come, and Mayor, it's always a pleasure to see you. You are blessed with great leadership in this community, and not only at the city level, but at the county level, and I'm so proud that Chairman Chance Corbett is a Trojan, and I appreciate all of you that give so much. Randy Wilkes, what a great job. President Screws, great job. As I drove in with Dr. Tatum a few minutes ago, it carried me back to the mid-'70s when I came to Phoenix City, my first visit to talk with the leadership here. And I was at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, at the Medical Center during the '70s, and we were forming a consortium with all the state's two-year colleges. And so I came to Phoenix City, and as I recall, Mayor, the office of the late Dr. Ralph Savage was in the utilities building, I believe, at that time, in the mid-'70s, and the campus hadn't even been constructed at that time. But one of the things that he shared with me, and believe me, I knew nothing about Troy State University, which it was known then as that. But even then, Ralph Savage told me about the growing partnership that one day would offer 2- and 4-year programming here in this community. And that prevailed, and that was almost 50 years ago. And so we feel that Phoenix City is a very integral part of Troy University, and we want you to view Troy University as an integral part of Phoenix City, and we're so blessed to have a presence here. I want to thank Dr. Curtis Pitts for the great work he did, and then succeeded by the great work of Dr. Dave White, and now Dr. Dion Rosser-Mims. They do outstanding work. I want to thank members of our staff and faculty who are here. I'm delighted, too, that the Chamber is well represented. I think we have 6 alumni on the Chamber board, and one of our faculty members, Dr. Paige Paquette, is also a member of the board of the Chamber, and so we appreciate so much what all of you do. We were very proud in 2015, and I was proud to see the picture of the riverfront building up here a couple of times, to be able to open that building. And as it was referred to then, Mayor, I've even heard you characterize it, that somehow it served as somewhat of the centerpiece of the downtown revival and renaissance. And so we're working together and collaboratively to try to do our part to make this community the very best it can be. And I appreciate being here to share a few thoughts with you. Now, they've given me kind of a general topic. They've asked me to talk a little bit about economic development and also leadership. And so let me begin by doing that. And I would ask you, isn't this a great country? You know, we have our problems, and I've been blessed to go all over the world and look back, but America never looks better to me than when we're not here. You know, you go and see all the problems. I mean, you don't see millions of people lined up at our border trying to leave, do you? You know, that should tell us something. Now, we have our challenges, but we have great opportunities. We are so privileged to be Americans, and it was the late Ronald Reagan who said the greatest privilege on earth is to be born an American citizen. But it was Thomas Jefferson, and I hope you'll remember this, 200 years earlier, who said one of the great challenges we'll face in the preservation of this delicate thing, and it is a delicate thing, called a democracy, is having enough leaders with integrity, ability, and vision. And that's what we must have to preserve this unique experience and experiment, because it's still so delicate. I appreciate what you're doing, and I commend the Chamber on your focus on leadership and what you're doing to grow up the young leaders in this community. I want to talk just briefly, though, about this changing world. I heard Dr. Dieter Zetsch, he was CEO of Mercedes-Benz, talk about change a couple of years ago, and he offered some enlightening examples. For example, by the end of this year, about 75% of the world's population will have access to a smartphone. Now you think about that. There hasn't been that kind of transformation since the Gutenberg printing press in terms of access to information. You think about how that equalizes and levelizes the playing field for everybody. Access to information is key. That smartphone not only will deliver information, it'll also be engaged increasingly in healthcare, from doing everything from a retina scan to a blood sample. Technology's changing our world, and it was accelerated during this thing called COVID and the pandemic. You think about how your world has changed in the last 2 years. Many of those paradigms will shift back to a high-touch environment, but we'll never be the same as we once were. You can just count on that. So technology is part of our future. Hopefully it won't determine our destiny, but it will help shape it. It's a changing world. Dieter Zetsch also talked about high tech and how it's changing the business community. Used as one example, Amazon. You think about that, almost $500 billion. $500 billion in business that they've done. And around the world last year, we did $4 trillion in e-commerce, and that was just topped off in 21 by $5 trillion. Projected to increase even more this past year. It's a changing world. 3D printing. Keep your eye on 3D printing. And incidentally, we do have a program on 3D printing. It's changing the world. But in the next few years, we'll see at least 10% of the world's products being developed by 3D printing. And the Chinese have already produced a 6-story building using 3D printing. It's remarkable how this world is being changed. I had the good fortune, I mentioned UAB, but I served as president of the Alabama Institute for Deaf and Blind from 1979 until 1989, prior to going to Troy. It was in 1987, and I was in this 1850s building and somehow made my way up to the attic. It was a dust-covered place, all these old boxes, and I became real curious, and I opened up one of these boxes, and it was a box of brochures. And those brochures were printed in 1937. I began reading the brochures, and it qualified how things were at that point. We had about 2.5 million people in Alabama. Today we have almost 5 million. Less than 2% of the population of Alabama had a college degree. Today that's in excess of 25%. The median household income at that time was about $1,000. Today it's approaching $50,000. 1937, cotton was still the king, but textiles and steel became the cornerstone. Think about it today. We're the Detroit of the South. Hyundai, Honda, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota. And you think about it, and one characteristic that's common to all of those, they're all international. What has happened to us? We've become a global village, literally, a global community. And we've attempted to respond to that. It was mentioned by Melissa, and incidentally, Melissa, I want you to tell Josh hello, and her son was a graduate of our School of Journalism, which is ranked number 6 in America, and today he is with WBRC. And so you give him my best. You give him my best. But we embraced in this country and in Alabama the old Japanese proverb that suggested that if you don't respond to change, you'll be swept away by it. And literally that's the truth. And what we've attempted to do at Troy is to become more global in nature. In fact, when my wife and I arrived in 1989, we had 40 international students. And we looked around and we realized that what we wanted to do was not just to grow up students who would be competitive with Georgia or Mississippi or Florida or Tennessee. We want our students to be globally competitive. And I don't think you can be globally competitive if you're not globally aware. And so we began a 3-pronged approach. 1, to bring the world to Troy. Before COVID, we had 75 countries represented on the Troy campus, and over 500 or almost 500 from China alone. Changing community. We had over 100 from Vietnam, and I'll explain that in just a minute. But as we brought these great students from around the world into Troy, it began to change our culture. Today we're the most diverse university in this part of the state, or in this state rather. And it has made all of us better. It's like the beautiful thread that's woven together. Not only is it more interesting, it's stronger. And that's what's happened through that diversity and bringing great students from all over the world. The second thing we've attempted to do is to plant our flag in other places. I'm really proud that after the Berlin Wall came down, the Soviet Union fell apart, and at that time we were in 10 countries, Mayor, 26 military bases throughout Europe. But they began to downsize troop strength, and we began to look, and we saw not Europe as the future, but Asia. Today we have programming in several countries in Asia, in Korea, Japan. We have faculty that's coming and going all the time, at least before COVID, to China. But one of the more interesting developments occurred not only in Malaysia, but in Vietnam. And I see a few people in here old enough to remember that war. But it was in 2002. I know it was mentioned, Melissa mentioned that I'd been there in my youth and never wanted to go back. I guess those of you who went probably felt just like I did. I've been there and I've done that and I don't want to do it again. But I did in 2002, 20 years ago, when we began to set up programs. Today we're in Hanoi, the old capital of North Vietnam. We have faculty on the ground. We're in Da Nang. We're in Ho Chi Minh City. We've already produced, and we were the first American university in February this month, 2008, to ever award the bachelor's degree in Vietnam, and we were very proud of that. I submit that we may have just lost a battle. We'll win the war, and the war will be economic in victory. We've graduated over 1,000 young people, and they're in business and government and education. Not one of them ever asked to study socialism or Marxism. They want to know about this free market system that drives all of us every day. And then the third thing is you look around and you see all these Troy tags, and if you don't have one, let me encourage you to put a Troy tag on your car. It costs you $50, but it's tax deductible. But let me tell you what we do with it. Now, the faculty from the outset wanted me to let them spend the money in. I'm such a Depression-era mentality that I said, no, we're going to save this money today. That fund is approaching $11 million. We rank only behind Alabama and Auburn, and we're trying to catch up, make sure that there are more tags, Troy tags, than any other tag in the state. But that fund now supports every student in study abroad. Every student who comes to Troy, including our students, and we've had some on the Phoenix City campus, every student is eligible for a $1,250 per year study abroad scholarship. We just had about 20 kids in Puerto Rico last week studying Spanish, and every one of those students is eligible for that fund. So keep that in mind. We want our students to see the world. This place never looks better than when you're out there at that place looking back at this place. This is a great country. The last thing that I wanted to do, and actually the last thing I want to do is to talk too long, so my colleagues raise your hand, but they asked me to talk a few minutes about leadership, and so let me give you some quick bullets. I suspect especially if you've served across the river, you're familiar with all of these simple bullets that I'll share. Now, my favorite four-letter word is Troy. I heard somebody say, uh-oh. Now, my second favorite four-letter word is lead. As a deaf would say, L-E-A-D, lead. Let me use that simple word as a guide so I can remember what I wanted to share with you. L. And as I do so, I'm reminded, too, of what happened at another university, and the president there, as he welcomed his freshman class, used the letters of his university. He talked about D for duty, U for unity, K for knowledge, E for excellence, and he talked about an hour, at which time the freshman on the back row turned to his newfound friend and said, "Thank goodness this is not the Massachusetts Institute of Technology." So I'm going to keep it real simple. Lead, L-E-A-D, lead from the front. Now, I guess I'm speaking to those young professionals in here who are looking at leadership. And I'm looking back over a lot of years, but these are simple ideas. But as Ben Franklin said, brilliance is found in simplicity. So don't disregard what I'm saying. Lead from the front. Never ask anybody to do what you are not willing to do. You know, it says in the book of Matthew, I came to serve and not to be served. And if you will remember that, I think in a leadership role, you'll be a lot more effective as a leader. Leadership is not about being a boss or having your name in lights or having a parking place closer to the building. It's about an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of those you are privileged to lead. That L word could also be, and this is harder for some of us than others, listen. I think the good Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so we could listen twice as much as we speak. I won't learn a thing while I'm talking to you. I hope you learn 1 or 2 things if you listen to what I have to share with you today. Listen. And generally, the best solution comes from those people closest to the problem. If something's gone wrong in my office, I don't look to me to answer the question. I look to those people who are dealing with it every day. You got to frame the problem before you can. Now, my dad hauled logs and had the benefit of an 8th grade education, and he taught me something that I wanted to share with you. He said, son, as we were in those woods, he said, measure 2 or 3 times before you cut. There's a life lesson in that. You know, don't be too quick or impulsive. Listen to the people around you. E, enthusiasm. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. If Mayor Eddie Lowe can't be enthusiastic about Phoenix City, how can anybody else be? If I can't be excited about Troy University, how can anyone else be? You know, in your position, in your organization, if you're not enthusiastic, how can anyone else be? Example, another great E word. Now, I had the privilege of having 2 daughters. I learned early in my life, it didn't matter what I said. The minute my actions violated what I said, my words meant nothing. It was St. Francis of Assisi who said it best. He said, preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words. Now, real leadership occurs when the walk and the talk intersect. You know, that consistency will make a difference. It'll generate trust, it'll generate loyalty, it'll generate effectiveness of organization. E, ethics. You know, Jefferson was right, and he said the first quality that we need is integrity, ethics, an ethical foundation. Let me tell you a quick story about one of the finest people I've ever met. When I was at the Institute for Deaf and Blind, we had a young man who we sent him up to Boston to be evaluated. He was on a plane sitting next to this older gentleman. This young man had lost part of his sight and part of his hearing, truly a Helen Keller type. They befriended each other, began to communicate. Now the boy could see well enough, and he would write letters, and the letters were typically this large that he would write, but they developed a friendship, this older gentleman and this young student. Unfortunately, that young man had multiple complexities in health. He died 2.5 years later. We had a memorial service. This gentleman came. I met him. Over the years, I got to know him. He even did a commencement speech in the mid-90s at Troy. He died a few years ago. Before he died, I wanted to see him. This was about 2 years before he passed on. I visited his headquarters, corporate headquarters. Probably 1,000 people worked in that beautiful building. I walked into the reception area, and the young lady at the reception desk said, "It's a blessing to see you." Now, how often do you walk into a corporate headquarters and someone says, "It's a blessing to see you"? You know, that used to be commonplace, but it's not anymore. I knew I was in kind of a special place when I walked into the dining facility and literally saw people praying before they ate their chicken sandwich. I knew I was in a special place. I went upstairs to visit with this gentleman. The secretary gave me the same response. I went in to see him, and if you remember the name Truett Cathy, you know that was at Chick-fil-A, the headquarters in Atlanta. And Mr. Cathy began telling me some stories. He gave me a copy of a book that he had just written, and he said, let me tell you one story that's captured in this book. He said in the wake of Enron and Health South and some of these corporate debacles, he said they invited me to appear before a congressional committee in Washington. I got there and they asked me to talk about ethics. He said, but when the committee chair introduced me, he said, now Mr. Cathy is going to tell us about business ethics. He said, I just sat there. And the committee chairman, of course, became perplexed, and he said, Mr. Cathy, are you going to tell us about business ethics? He said, no, sir. He said, I don't know a thing about business ethics. He said, but if it's personal ethics you're interested in, I'll give you my opinion, because I don't distinguish between business ethics and personal ethics. And then he went on to say, he said, I believe what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Now, that's a simple way to state it, but you and I both know we were empowered with a conscience, and most of us know when we're about to violate or compromise ourselves through a bad decision. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. That next letter, A, attitude. I am quick, President Scrooge, to tell all of our students that research every year continues to show that 90% of the people in this country who lose their job, they don't lose their job because they can't do their job. They lose their job because of a bad attitude. If a bad attitude will get you fired, and it will, what will a good attitude do? It'll get you hired. It'll get you promoted. You know, their attitude determines altitude. That A word is so critical in leadership. And we can't look at those people who look to us for leadership as having their glass half empty. They're half full. Everybody has great potential. It's just a matter of how we get them to realize that potential. The last letter, D, direction. You know, it was that great philosopher, Yogi Berra, who said, if you don't know where you're going, you probably won't get there, right? Well, I'm carried back to in economic development. I'm carried back more than a dozen years ago, and Mayor, you remember Jimmy Lunsford, he was our mayor at the time. He calls me up one cold morning and he said, we have an opportunity to redirect this group. They're with a software engineering company. They're looking at Mobile, they're looking at Birmingham, but we can get them to come to Troy and look at Troy. He said, and we had just purchased 5 acres of dirt under this old strip mall that had been closed. It was about a block and a half from campus. He said, "Are you interested in using that strip mall?" I said, "Yeah, we would talk about it." And he explained the nature of it. He said, "I've got a jet from nearby corporation scheduled to pick them up in Mobile. We can get them here for a few minutes, and then we'll get them on to their schedule in Birmingham. And we'll have an opportunity to talk about them coming to Troy, Alabama." I said, "We're in. We're in." Well, the mayor did it right. He had 3 police cars waiting for them when the jet landed. Had the blue lights. He really wanted to impress them. And so they come whizzing over to the strip mall, and there I stand by myself in the middle of this old parking lot with this old strip mall that's been abandoned. And they get out of the car, and I greet them, and I tell them a little bit about Troy University. And then I said this to them, reminding them of the words of Henry David Thoreau. I said, it was Thoreau who said, "It's not what you're looking at, it's what you see that counts." I don't want you to look at this old strip mall. I want you to see these beautiful new buildings with cupolas on top and columns. And just think about this and the health or the manpower that's available within a block from here. I don't know what role that played in their decision ultimately to come to Troy, but I know they came to Troy, brought 600 jobs into that old strip mall. You know, what is your vision for this community? Because people want to have leaders who know where they're going. It says in the Bible, in the Proverbs, without vision the people perish, right? Well, in 1957, let me close with this. In 1957, somehow my family made its way out to Anaheim, California, Disneyland. Disneyland opened in 1955. I was so excited about the place. And I was really excited in 1964 when they had a groundbreaking. You know, Walt Disney, several years earlier, sent his real estate team in, and they bought up thousands of acres. Not sand, dirt cheap, but sand cheap. Nobody knew what they were going to do with all this acreage. 64, they have a groundbreaking, announced Disney World, bigger and better Disneyland on the East Coast. Unfortunately, Walt Disney passed away 2 years later. They continued to build. In 1971, I was really excited because that was the year they opened Disney World. They had a ribbon cutting. And at that ribbon cutting, Roy Disney, Walt Disney's brother, presided over the affairs. And here's what happened. The niece walked up to her Uncle Roy and she said, "Oh, I wish Uncle Walt could see this." To which Roy Disney said, "Sweetheart, Walt did see this, and that's why we are here today." That's why we are here today. Vision. You know, the one thing I concluded a long time ago, none of us get excited by little ideas. We get excited by big ideas. You know, and I would encourage you to have big ideas about this community because your foundation is in place. You have built your house on a rock, and the best lies ahead for Phoenix City. God bless you all, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hawkins. That's great. So, thank you so much, Dr. Hawkins. That was absolutely awesome. Next, I want to bring up our president and CEO of the East Alabama Chamber of Commerce. Y'all, please put your hands together for Dennis Beason.
Thank you, Dr. Hawkins. So in the last 4 years, I've had the opportunity to follow the Secretary of State, the Governor, James Blanchard, and Dr. Hawkins. Great opening acts. Thank you so much. So we're hoping to get done at 1, but we're not gonna. So we're gonna be done about 10 after, but stay with us, okay? Thank you so much for being here. My name is Dennis Beason. I am the president of the Chamber of Commerce. I like to move when I'm speaking, not great at the podium because I think I have ADD. I don't know, I just have to keep moving. Thank you all, cities, Smith and Phoenix, Russell County. Thank you for all your support. Let's do a quick review of what we've been doing here. So, we finished in the black financially. That's a good thing to have. We've successfully held in-person events since 3 months after COVID hit. We took 3 months off, and then we followed all the rules, and we got back into business, and we've been consistently having events and helping people continue on economically. We had a military legislative event last fall. I think most of the people that were there will say it was a great success. We had a chance to meet and talk with our military leaders, and remember that we have a $4.9 billion engine just across the room, and it changes every day, so it's going to be $11 billion next time I talk about it. We had a great golf outing again this year. We had 45 teams. Took up the whole golf course. They did a great job working with us, and fun was had by all. We assisted in raising and putting in some new benches out in Smith Station. If you haven't been in Smith Station, they put a great clock up right in front of their government center, and now there's 2 benches there that you can literally watch time go by. It's true. So for about 2 years, 3 years now, I've been doing a thing called the Second Saturday Cleanup. This is an opportunity to get started, and Mayor, we are going to actually have a conversation because I want to talk to the various pastors of our community and our region. And Smith Station already does a great cleanup day out in your world. We picked the Riverwalk right now because it's very easy and convenient to get to. We spend about an hour and a half, one Saturday a month. And anybody that wants to volunteer, and there's some of the folks out in this room that have helped me, I greatly appreciate it. We spend from 9:30 to 11 o'clock picking up garbage up and down the Riverwalk, and it makes a difference. I don't think there's been a time where we've had less than 5 bags of garbage in a 1-mile stretch. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're old enough to remember, give a hoot, don't pollute, raise your hand. Okay, so I don't understand it, folks, but when you see somebody reach out of their car with a McDonald's bag and put it down next to their, would you go say something to them? Just tell them. So we're doing that. We keep doing it. We increased our membership to 381 after we dipped down to 360 during COVID. Here's some great numbers I want to show you. Diversity, women and minority-owned businesses. We had 17 of the 70 new businesses are women-owned businesses. Yeah. But here's another cool statistic. Out of the 70 businesses, 15 of them were minority-owned. That is progress. Of those minority-owned businesses, 6 of those businesses were women minority-owned business. So I think that's worth some applause or something. We're all in this together. We all need to work together, and that's what the Chamber's about. We have 5 targeted advisory groups, as were mentioned. We focus on education, workforce development, economic community development, military and government relations, and we also have one for visitors and guests. These 5 areas are key focus areas that we have now started to break down silos, and we're starting to have communication with people all over the region, not just Phoenix City, not just Russell County, and not just Smith Station, but everybody in the same room talking and figuring out ways that we can bring people to our region. As Melissa said, and they're a great, fantastic partner, we're going to have actually 5 videos on the topics and then 1 anthem video that's going to actually be our big driver. And we hope that Sean Culligan and his crew, and Victor Cross and his crew, and Mayor Copeland use these videos to recruit businesses here. If one area wins, we all win. We do. We've got great businesses here. We've got great community here. And frankly, some of the nicest people in the world. Regionalism. We have participated in regionalism. I believe in it. I'm a part of Columbus 2025. Folks, we have to talk to our friends across the river, our friends in East Phoenix City. We have to talk to those folks. It's important. fact of the matter is that Columbus 2025 is moving ahead. We need to be a part of it. We need mayors and county commissioners, and we need you guys to sit on the various boards. It's important. You gotta be there. And frankly, we can borrow some stuff that they're doing. Let's not think that that river's a barrier, but it's a bridge for us to work together. And lastly, we maintain the strength of the relationships from our regional partners. We keep getting stronger. And the Chamber is a part of every board that they'll let me be a part of. So just know that is happening. Now, as we go forward, we've got some goals. Folks, we're doing a good job, but we can always do better. We're gonna always strive to be better. I need your help. I need each one of your help. If you like the East Alabama Chamber of Commerce and you believe that we're helping and we're doing something, I need you. Where's Kellen Fliss? You guys know Kellen Fliss, she's over there, but you'll see her in a minute. She's our membership director. We need leads. We need you to tell people to join the Chamber of Commerce. Because what you don't realize is the Chamber is not just about networking events. It's about helping businesses grow and stay in business. We work very closely with the various economic development organizations. And when you have a problem with Mayor Lowe, which I can't imagine anybody would have a problem with Mayor Lowe, or Mayor Copeland, or Chance Corbin, come to me as a member, and I'll go intercede for you, because we have a great relationship. Any of our city council folks, any of our commissioners. That's what a Chamber of Commerce does. We're your political advocate. We're not telling people who to vote for. We're here to help you grow your business. And if for some reason there's an ordinance or something that gets in your way, that's why I'm here. We have a great board of directors, and they will be there for you. But it's always about helping people stay in business. Somebody mentioned Amazon, and thank you for mentioning Amazon. If we had an Amazon facility here, I'd be the biggest cheerleader for Amazon in the world. But I'm the biggest cheerleader for the small mom and pop business, the medium-sized business, the one that's just trying to get by and pay their bills. Shop local first. Shop local first. Try to find it here, then go to the internet. Is it a deal? All right, liars. All right, we're gonna keep growing. We're gonna keep our economic and community development going. We are gonna do it. And then we're gonna work on our workforce. Somebody keeps saying to me, I can't find any good workers. Well, we have a whole targeted advisory group. Folks from our Goodwill organization work real well. Chris Maurer is the head of our workforce development tag this year. Its tag is Targeted Advisory Group. Trying to get people together to figure out ways to get those workers here. We want to do it. Okay? This is our plan. This is your chamber. And by the way, it is your chamber. It is not my chamber. You are the Chamber of Commerce. I just get to run the day-to-day operations and eat all the leftover food. It works out really well, and there's a lot of leftovers, by the way. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up a new friend. She's been my friend now for about a year, and she gives me a hard time all the time. She keeps me on my toes, but she's a great person for our community. Please make welcome the Vice Chancellor of the Phoenix City campus, Dr. Dion Rosser-Mims.
All right, good afternoon. How are we feeling? All right, you ready to get out of here? Okay, so Dennis he put a word in my ear. I have 3 minutes to get in and get out. So I have the privilege of serving as the campus vice chancellor for this great campus here in Phoenix City, and I've had the wonderful opportunity to get to know this community here. Mayor Lowe, your leadership team, you and others, you have welcomed, you've heard me say this before, you have welcomed me wonderfully, and I feel a part of this community. Dr. Hawkins, thank you so much for the opportunity to serve in this role, and Dr. White, thank you for your support over the years. As you know, Dr. White was the previous campus vice chancellor. So I had big shoes to fill, but I do have my stilettos. So what I'd like to do over the next 2 minutes is to share with you some exciting initiatives, I believe, we have underway with this campus, and then followed by a video that we've recently produced, the university has produced for our new campaign. So let's see here. Dennis has placed me in control of this computer here. Oh, Dennis? Back it up, sir. Back it up. So day one of the things I knew we needed to immediately do was to figure out what is our why here for this campus. Why do we exist? And so obviously over a course of community discussion groups, internal, external feedback, I determined that our why is we are an institution and a campus that is obligated to advancing community efforts here. And so you see the graphic here, which represents what I believe are the important areas of focus for this campus. So for example, academics, that is clearly our bread and butter. So we offer traditional programs to non-traditional degreed, non-degreed academic degree programs. It is really important for us to ensure that the programming that we offer, that it aligns with the business and industry current needs and future needs. And how are we doing that? So one way we're doing that is we're working very closely with our community junior partners to ensure, college partners, to include Chattahoochee Valley Community College, to ensure that students who participate in academic programming, they have a pathway to completing their degrees. We are also working very, very closely with Chattahoochee Valley Community College and other community colleges to create concurrent enrollment opportunities. And our first one out the gate will be very soon in the coming months with Chattahoochee Valley Community College. The other area of opportunity that I clearly recognized is training and development, short-term certificate programs that our peer institutions are not providing, and in particular providing these programs to economically challenged and economically underserved communities. We also have an opportunity to offer, and I think this is a great opportunity for Troy in this community, and that is to develop a program, a training program for early childhood education providers, and partnering with our Sorrell College of Business. So more to come on that. Another area of opportunity is grassroots leadership development. I'm very proud to say that I'm working very closely with the Chamber, as well as the Macon Russell Community Action Agency, and the Toastmasters International, which is local, to develop a program that is designed to prepare individuals, again, who live in economically distressed communities, to ensure that they have the leadership capacity, the ability to engage civically in their community, to be a change agent. So we're working with these entities and other local partners to develop this program. The final area that I'm extremely excited about is the community and arts and culture section of our model here. Phoenix City has rich talent in the area of arts. And so I have been privileged to been working very closely with Kathy Ninus, who is seated here, as well as Ed Noriega, who is a professor on our main campus and our Troy main campus. We have been working on a collection of projects that are designed to stimulate, to encourage our students to engage with the Phoenix City, Russell County community, to apply their talents to assist this particular community in the area of arts. And our goal is to use the Phoenix City story in a way where we redefine it. And two projects that we've been working on out the gate, and what you see here is a retro design clinic. So when you walked into the auditorium area, the lobby area, you may have seen posters along the wall. That represents student work over the past semester who was responsible for researching the local businesses that were in operation in the 1950s, 40s, and 50s. Why is that important? That is important because these students have the opportunity to use their design thinking skills from an entrepreneurial standpoint to and figure out how to leverage the history of Phoenix City to help us to redefine it so that we can put an economic spin on it. So extremely excited about this. So if you are interested in learning more about this particular project, I invite you to take a picture of this QR code. It will take you to our website where you will find more information about the programs, the outreach opportunities that we are offering here to the community, the broader Chattahoochee Valley region as well. Thank you so much. So at this time, I would like to turn your attention to our video, which I believe represents the best of Troy. Troy University is, as Dr. Hawkins referenced, an institution that produces leaders, and I believe at our core, we do an excellent job of developing student leaders who have a global mindset, who are also prepared to lead not only locally, domestically, but also globally. Sit back and relax. The first 60 section of this is narrative, and then you will see a change.
At Troy, we celebrate leadership with quality academic programs that strengthen core values. We help make dreams real and challenge students to do more than they ever thought possible. We nurture a culture of caring and have a faculty that truly invests in our students. We prepare the next generation to lead change in life and in business. Our students will become the leaders of tomorrow. They will help change the world. In tribute, we have created a campaign to inspire others to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
We all dream. We dream when we're sleeping, when we're awake. But dreams quickly become distant memories, unless we do something about it. Push ourselves, believe in something, do everything in our power, direct every action and thought we have, to learn to lead, to make it real. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kellen Fliss. I am the membership director here at the Chamber, and I'd like to take a little bit of time now to go ahead and recognize some really wonderful and helpful people and businesses. So we're going to kick off the awards ceremony here of our program, and we're going to start with the Ambassador Group. If you are not super familiar with our Ambassador Group and what they do, it is made up of Chamber member volunteers that give their time to help with our events, whether it's setup, tear down, working all of our events, and most importantly, they help keep our members engaged. Whether it's a phone call, an email, a lot of them will even go in person and visit them. They make sure that our brand new members have another friendly face to know. They know that it's somebody that can answer any questions they might have, and they are so helpful to our Chamber staff. Now, in turn, they have a friendly, or in some cases, not so friendly competition. And they are able to earn points. Every time they reach out to a Chamber member business, they get points. And we like to recognize them at our annual meetings. So these are the top earners in our Ambassador Group. So first we're going to go ahead and we're going to recognize our Team of the Year. All the ambassadors are split up into teams, and our winning team happens to be the Goldbusters this year. It is Stacy Stone, Ron Hatch, Kay Adamson, Dave Arwood, and Carl Thomas. Of those ambassador teams, there are a top 5 earners, and those top 5 are considered our Ambassador All-Stars. And our All-Stars this year, Kay Adamson, Ron Hatch, Andrea Vaughter, Ron Jones, and Paige Paquette. Now these next couple of people in categories, I'd like, after I announce the winner, if you could actually come up and receive an award and take a picture, that would be wonderful. But we're going to start with our Ambassador of the Year. The Ambassador of the Year is an individual that has given of their time freely to promote, support, and grow the Chamber. Through their commitment to attending events, providing referrals, being a liaison to members, and assisting with the setup and teardown of the events, this person has overwhelmingly benefited the Chamber of Commerce. And the winner is Kay Adamson. Next, we have our Young Leader of the Year, someone through their engagement in our region who has demonstrated great leadership. This young leader has created a higher degree of inclusion, influence, and impact for the good of our communities and our citizens. Through their time, talent, and treasure, the recipient's age is within the requirements of the Young Professional Organization and has assisted in elevating the presence and impact of our community's younger citizens. The nominees are Albert Williams, Providence Staffing; Chelsea Arrington, Generational Changers; Nathan Walden, Walden Insurance; and Ron Jones, Platinum Properties. And the winner is?
One more. Morgan Bryce.
Oh, sorry, Morgan. Sorry, Morgan Bryce. I love you, Morgan. And the winner is Albert Williams, Providence Staffing. Our Individual Leader of the Year is someone who has reflected unselfish humanitarian service and leadership, having promoted or led positive initiatives and taken stands on issues for the betterment of our communities. Through their leadership, they have made a significant impact through personal, business, or professional achievement. Someone who has helped build a community atmosphere for diversity, inclusion, growth, and opportunity for all. The nominees are Dr. Dion Rosser-Mims, Troy University; Earl Hutchinson, American Legion Post 135; Dr. Paige Paquette, Troy University; Ron Hatch, Alvin and Associates. And the winner is Earl Hutchinson, American Legion Post 135. And our Economic Development Award is for a large company, over 50 employees, that has made a significant impact in the East Alabama region through job creation and investment, both in the community and infrastructure, expansion and/or renovation. The Economic Development Award is a recognition of commitment to our region and a readiness to act when called upon. The nominees are Alitrade Foods, Jack Houston Hospital, Russell County Schools, And the winner is Russell County Schools. And just a reminder, all of these awards are actually nominated and selected by our chamber members. So thank you so much to everyone who voted. All right, we've got Small Business of the Year, which is a business or company of 50 employees or less that positively impacted the East Alabama region by actions taken for the betterment of all. Through their investment in the community, they are a leader of initiatives and economic development. Their business or enterprise promotes a positive environment for the community. And the nominees are Coyote Benefits, Jay's Catch and Market and Grill, Chattahoochee Brewing Company, Marco's Pizza, Fort Mitchell, Phoenix City. And the winner is Chattahoochee Brewing Company.
You didn't put shorts on.
Thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank you again to our diamond sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. Before I go, I think there's a birthday in the house today. Is there a birthday in the house today? Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday to Mayor Eddie Love. Thank y'all so much for coming out. I hope you have a fantastic work day. Please say it with me, for those of you that know. Remember to shop local and seek out a chamber member first. Yeah. Y'all have a great day.